All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. When the American Athletic Conference was formed back in 2013, it took the place of the old original Big East Conference for football in more ways than one. The American became a refuge for those football schools who got kicked out of the Big East when the remaining Catholic schools there wanted to focus and get back to the league's roots, which are basketball. And from the jump, the American has been a revolving door for schools, as six of the league's original 10 members are now in Power Four conferences, while Connecticut said adios a couple of years ago in order to become a football independent and rejoin the new Big East in all other sports. And as the American has been able to somewhat survive multiple waves of realignment in college football, I'm not sure that they're going to be able to survive this next wave. You just look at things right now. One of the conference's remaining flagship schools could possibly be looking to jump ship, and I think that would be a huge blow for the American. You look at Memphis right now, and they've been looking for an invite from a power conference for quite some time, and it has not come. Okay, the Tigers have also recently been courted by the new Pac-12. Now, Memphis was reportedly looking for the Pac-12 to pay their buyout from the American. It's estimated that that buyout could be more than $25 million. And you look at the Pac 12 and Memphis as of now, they have not figured that out. But as Memphis has seen most of their original buddies from the American Athletic Conference move on to greener pastures and power leagues, the Tigers are going to have to do something. Now, on paper, the new Pac-12 is shaping up to arguably be the best non-power four conference in football. While the addition of Gonzaga is definitely going to help the Pac-12's basketball footprint. And then you look at the AAC where they stand currently. It's not shaping up right now for them in either football or men's basketball. But even with all of that said, the American can hang their hat on one thing, and that's the fact that they were the only non or the group of five conference that got a bid to the four-team college football playoff. That's when Cincinnati did it several years ago. Of course, that format has now changed, guaranteeing a group of five or soon to be group of six member entry into that. But nonetheless, you look at the Pac-12 and Mountain West for football. They're looking to duke it out, if you will, to be that top conference of the group of six for football. And honestly, with the way that things are going right now in the American Athletic Conference, you could make a case that the Sun Belt could be viewed as a more stable conference for football than the American. That's legit. Okay. Now, you think about Memphis, and of course, one of the things that comes to mind immediately for Memphis is their basketball program. They have a strong basketball reputation. And I feel like the longer that they stay in the American Athletic Conference, the more that it's going to be wasted because you think about it, you had Memphis right there with Houston and Cincinnati. And of course, both Houston and Cincinnati are currently in the Big 12. So where does that leave Memphis? Okay, Memphis, they never got the invite from the Big 12 or the ACC that they wanted. And I really, truly feel that Memphis could fit in either league, especially in the ACC. And I'll say this, I know the ACC is dealing with their own issues now. I feel like the ACC really made a mistake in glossing over Memphis. I think they would have been a good addition to that league. Just my 2 cents, okay? But nonetheless, where does all of this leave Memphis? Okay, you're hearing rumors, and they're only rumors. Okay, so I'm not here to say something's guaranteed, but you're hearing rumors of Memphis possibly joining the Pac-12 as a football only member. Okay, that's a possibility right there for the Tigers. Also, you're also hearing rumors about Memphis possibly, joining up uh, with the Big East for all of their other sports. That's a possibility as well. I'll say this much: if Memphis were to do that, and Memphis were to go to the Big East for basketball, that would definitely be a big thing for their footprint right there. It would be a huge slam dunk, and it's one of those where Memphis would then be drinking from multiple wells, which could be one of the best case scenarios for them. But let's face it, the Pac 12 is not about to cough up more than $25 million to get Memphis to dance with them as a full time member, especially when you look at the ongoing dispute right now. And I know they're trying to smooth things out, Pac 12 and Mountain West, but nonetheless, the exit fees for Boise State, San Diego State, Utah State, Colorado State, and Fresno State. That's got to be taken care of first. But you still got to wonder, could there be some middle ground between the Pac 12 and Memphis as far as solving each other's football problem? Got to wait and see. But at this point, the Pac 12 knows that they have Texas State in their back pocket. And that right there is going to solve all of their issues in regards to needing a full time eighth member. It's going to happen. Okay. It's just not a matter of if, it's more like when. And of course, I think the first clue of that, if you will, was the fact that, the Mountain West reached out to Texas State a while back, and Texas State basically told them thanks, but no thanks. All right. But hypothetically speaking, if Memphis were to join the Pac 12 just for football, could they possibly persuade Tulane to go out there and do the same? Or would Memphis simply join the Pac 12 in all sports? I don't see it happening, honestly, as far as Memphis joining the Pac 12 in all sports, unless, okay, this is my opinion, unless they get somebody else to come east of the Mississippi with them. Okay, and in this case, it would probably have to be a Tulane. Okay, and I said this before a couple of days ago when I was talking about the Pac-12. Just my 2 cents. Okay, but nonetheless, you look at it. What about Memphis joining the Big East in all other sports except football? Um, to me, I think it would definitely be a win-win for both conference and school, as you have one of the better basketball leagues in the nation, and you would only allow them to get stronger. Memphis was already in the American with Connecticut, but Connecticut didn't have the same solid foot on the ground, if you will, athletically wise, especially basketball wise, in the American that they do in the Big East. UConn is back to being a national power. You'd have Memphis in the same league with St. John's and Xavier and other programs like that, Villanova as well. And then, of course, Memphis was in Conference USA once upon a time with Marquette and DePaul, so they would be reunited with them there. But nonetheless, due to the realignment that has constantly been happening for like the last 25 years or so, and of course, it all stems from college football. It's one of those, but the American, unfortunately, has quickly become a one bid league for men's basketball. And I'm talking about the NCAA tournament, while they're also becoming an afterthought for all other for football and other sports. And it's just unfortunate because it was set up to be a little bit stronger than what it is. But at the end of the day, money talks. And guys are going to go out there. They're showcasing themselves, basically trying to get that power conference invite, and that's what we've seen. I mean, nonetheless, when the American was formed, they knew that Louisville and Rutgers were not going to be there long term. Okay, they basically had stuff already set up with the ACC and Big Ten, respectively. But when the Big 12 was looking to expand a couple of years ago after the departures of Texas and Oklahoma to the SEC, they basically went in and ripped out the heart of the American when they took Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF. Kind of like what happened to the original Big East when Syracuse and Pitt decided to leave and go to the ACC. So the American is trying to hold on for dear life, and I think their former conference commissioner Mike Oresco, he saw the writing on the wall when he decided to retire last year. And if you're Memphis right now, I truly think it's time for you to jump ship while this ship is still afloat. And again, it just shows you the need for strong leadership in college sports more than ever, especially in football. Like I talked about it before with the new Pac 12, they're trying to shape themselves up to be the best non-power league, and there's some people out there who feel that the Pac-12 could still be a power league. We got to wait and see how the dominoes fall on that. But nonetheless, you've got some big-time players that you're bringing in to your fold. You bring in Boise State, Utah State, San Diego State, Fresno State, and Colorado State. Bringing in Gonzaga for basketball is definitely going to help you. And I think what the Pac-12 is trying to shape up, they're trying to be strong in both basketball and football. And like I said, we got to wait and see what happens with this Memphis thing. Okay, like I said, Texas State is definitely there. I would imagine at some point uh, that there will be some type of announcement for the Pac 12 on that. But nonetheless, I don't see Memphis staying in the American Athletic Conference long term. I would like this is 2025 right now. If you're going to tell me by 2028 or 2029 that Memphis is still in the American Athletic Conference, I would be extremely surprised to see it happen. They're going to do what they feel they got to do for football. They're going to do what they feel they have to do for basketball. I think what is holding Memphis in the American right now is their exit fees from the conference. Okay, and it's one of those where a bigger conference with big money, just throwing this out there, like an SEC or a Big Ten, they would pay that in the drop of a dime per se. That's pocket change to them. But a Pac-12 is not going to pay out that type of money. Okay, especially with what's going on with the Mountain West. Something's going to have to give either way. But I simply don't see Memphis staying there. It's one of those. This next decision, but with the Pac-12, is going to be the next domino to fall. Like I said before, not trying to sound like a broken record. It's not a matter of if, it's more like when Texas State makes it official. It's going to happen. And if you're Memphis, you don't want to get left out in the cold on this matter. So the ball is in the Tigers' court. The ball is on the Tigers' side of the field in more ways than one, as far as what they want to do with this. I think they do want to dance with the Pac-12. It just comes down to the dollars. They can clearly get more money from a television deal for football if they work with the Pac 12. And definitely basketball wise, they're going to get more money, whether that's going to be with the Big East for basketball or whether that's going to be with the Pac 12 for basketball. One way or the other, the money is going to be there. At the end of the day, collegiate athletics are like anything else, my man. It's a business. Money talks and everything else walks. Every time you turn around with realignment, there's always multiple dominoes that trigger one after the other. And of course, when the original Pac 12 went under, a lot of people felt like, Washington State and Oregon State were going to fold. They did not fold. Okay. They are fighting, scrapping, and clawing to build the Pac 12, if you will, the new Pac 12 in their own image. And I know that there are schools out there that are still clamoring to get, a potential invite from one of these Power Four leagues. It's not a guarantee that it's going to happen. Okay. The Big 12 could sit back and say, hey, next round of television deals, we're content at 16. The ACC could be content where they're at. The Big Ten and SEC, I feel like at this point, they're only going to add schools unless they have to. And at this point, that would come if they saw another league, another power league, maybe a Big 12 or an ACC fold. Okay, so everybody else who's on the outside looking in, I think at the end of the day, You're just going to have to work together and see what the best case scenario for you is going to be. I truly feel the best case scenario for Memphis is they've got to get out of the American. And whether it's going to be a full time member in the new Pac 12, or whether it's going to be a football only member in the new Pac 12 and take everything else to the Big East. Bottom line is, you got to get that money. You've got to survive. And I tell you like this, sake of argument, football wise, if Memphis does go to the Pac 12, that would be their best chance to get to the playoff and showcase themselves potentially. And of course, getting to the Big East is only going to enhance, or would only enhance, their basketball program. I'll tell you like this on the flip side, though. If Memphis did go to the Pac 12 full time, you would then have Memphis and Gonzaga, along with San Diego State, in the same basketball league, which would be great. And like we talked about it before, I know the Pac 12 was trying to get UNLV into that mix. It's not going to happen now, but just sake of argument, that would have been a very good basketball league. But nonetheless, the ball is in Memphis's court. What are they going to do? We've got to wait and see. That next domino to fall is going to be Texas State going to the Pac 12. It's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when. But if you're Memphis, you definitely want to get off of that sinking ship while it's still afloat. Pac 12 is throwing you a life raft, as is the Big East. What is Memphis going to do? Just got to sit back, wait, and see. But folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. And as always, if you like what you heard and saw on this podcast, y'all know what to do. Hit that like button, as well as subscribing to this channel. Like I always say, it is greatly appreciated. Also, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, you can check me out at 300 Pounds of Sports. You give me that follow, I'll give you that follow right back. And the same goes for Instagram, as you can check me out at 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge. Also, you can check us out on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. And as far as I'm concerned, one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. And just before I chime off, I said it over the weekend, and I'm going to say it one more time. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. The world is a much better place with all of you. Keep on doing what you're doing. But until next time, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, and I'm saying thanks once again for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.